Oh, it's yeah, I think it's just remembering why you're going out. Of course, you can have a drink, you can have a good time, you can um, do whatever the hell you want to do, but you've got to remember that going to the club is to go and see the art, really.
Yeah, no, it is. I try to tell like my partner all the time. I'm like, I'm going to the club to listen to the artist. It's not just to like black out. I used to do that when I was a kid, but not anymore. Things have changed.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely. I think when we were kids, like we used to go to Sankey's and we would study, we'd educate ourselves on like, we wouldn't know the artist on Monday and then by, I'd, the artist would get announced on say like Sunday night for the coming Saturday and they'd just be like super underground artists. This was before like Jamie Jones, Martinez brothers are in like that huge bracket, and they'd just be playing on Saturday, and you'd research them on Monday and become a fan. By Saturday, you know everything about them, and then you'd sit there in awe and just be like, "Oh my god!" Like all playing like music that you've never heard in your life. It wasn't about what's trending on TikTok, all that sort of stuff. It was just like, "Yo, this is art." Do you know what I mean? So that was
For
the we came from.
what was I gonna say? So I started recording just because for note taking purposes, and I wanted
Of course,
to. I also, if this interview comes out pretty good, if you we were gonna post it on our YouTube channel.
let's do
Um,
it.
but basically, this interview is gonna be geared towards Young Omz, who that person is, what inspired him. We know you from Mason Collective, but I don't think there's enough media out there yet to really digest or dissect this part of you. So I'm really excited about this.
Let's go. Me too. It's the first
It's
time properly talking about it as well. So.
did Luca get a? Did he send you over the question? Is that a she or he, Luca?
Hey, yeah, Luca, yeah.
Yeah. Did he
Yeah.
send you over the
Actually,
questions?
yeah, do you know what? I don't like to look at questions
Oh, perfect.
because then it makes me overthink them and then I start writing notes and then I'm like,
No, 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 perfect.
So I'd like to just get them and then I'm just organically telling you. And if it
No, I
comes
love
out,
that. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I just sent them over sometimes before because they like to see them, but I love to hear that you don't. So
yeah.
we'll just dive right in. So we talked a little bit about like what your plans are coming up this summer, but overall, like what has this past year looked like for you musically and personally, in regards to Young Arms?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I've been doing my solo project for a long time, but it's just kind of just been an output of where I've been musically. So obviously, as you said, everyone's known me for Mason Collective. That's when I'm with the boys. We link up. Obviously, it's more predominantly house, tech house. The whole journey of Ohms is just kind of where I'm at creatively, I guess. Over the last 24 months, I would say I've just fallen into the pocket of the Afro sound. That came from that came from me being really inspired by Afro beats and Amapiano.
Mhm.
Um, I
I
used to
love
DJ.
Amapiano.
Yeah, so I
Love.
used to DJ a lot of Afro beats and Amapiano back in Manchester. Yeah, one second, sorry, 2 seconds. My bad.
No, you're
Um,
good.
yeah, so that came from DJing a lot of Amapiano Afro beats back when I lived in Manchester. And it just naturally progressed into like the more electronic side of things, going into producing Afro house, producing tribal house. Um, and I stepped back from doing the Ohms projects about 3 years ago when I used to DJ like hip hop and R&B when I was younger because that was I feel like my personality was in like this essence of chaos. So when I was drinking, all this sort of stuff, like I used to love mixing house, trap music, and kind of like selection vibes. So then, as I matured, I started going into the Afro beats on the piano, and then feel like my palette matured again, and I moved into the Afro house world. Still keeping the elements of I use a lot of like log drum basses, which are very inspired by Amapiano, but just bringing the tempo up to your 124s, 122, so it kind of translates into the club a little bit more for where I am at the moment. Um, so yeah, that progression's been great. I'm really finding my sound in terms of my production with Ohms. I feel like probably about a year and a half ago, I really started to do sessions with vocalists like Bipolar Sunshine, Nave Smalls, Junior Choi, and bringing. I'm really grateful for them people because they trusted in the project from early, and started to understand what I really want to do. My big aim is to work with vocalists and bring not just music together, but art and visuals and just a whole experience within itself of not just, okay, I'm putting out a track here, you guys listen to it. I want you guys to see a mood board of what this is. So, for example, with the 444 track that I've been teasing recently with Junior Choi, we want
Mm-hmm.
a music video. We finished it and we went straight to the club to play it. We documented all of that when we were doing the track together. We documented all of that. So I want people to listen to that track, see the visual side of it, and feel that visual of like, oh, that was made in London. Okay, cool. That was made in London. I feel that essence of what that is when you created it. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. Loved working with vocalists. Some of these people are my heroes, like Bipolar Sunshine's from Manchester, but
Mm-hmm.
he's obviously been big in the game for years. Nave Small's been one of my favorite rappers for years and years and years. Ended up becoming a friend now. Same with Junior. So yeah, I'm super grateful to be in a room with these people. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, the sounds really just elevated into that tribal house, Afro house world organically. It's not something that I've planned and been like,
Yep.
okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing. It's just come from the progression of the Afro beats and the Amapiano influence, which was a heavy sound that was really popular in Manchester at the time.
That's actually pretty cool. I had no idea that it was popular in the UK, honestly.
Yeah, it's
Have you
huge.
heard?
There's
Have you
just
heard?
so much Afro influence in Manchester itself, from like the Black community to the African community to the Caribbean community. Um, so when you go out to the clubs, you see like that has a huge influence on the dance floor.
Have you heard of Three Step?
Three step, so it's
Yeah.
like dubstep.
No, no, Three
Oh,
Step.
three.
It's I think it's like a subgenre of Amapiano. It's like if you could even break if I'm piano and
Three
Afro-house and
step.
a baby, it would be Three Step.
Well, how am I not in the loop? I didn't get the memo.
I'll send you a link after this. I wrote a little story about it because I've also fell in love with piano music and I like listened to Uncle Waffles.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
And she was talking about this thing called Three Step. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I got into it. It's really
Okay.
interesting. I'll send you a link after. But circling back to the influence of Amapiano, you mentioned that you were mixing it when you were listening to it when you were younger, right? Before obviously like
Afrobeats more so. The Amapiano kind of came. There was a
okay,
wave. There was a wave from like 2001 to 2023, maybe 2023, which that influence started to really build in the UK. And it was,
gotcha.
I think it came from the log drum bass of like whenever you heard a log drum kind of bass within the party of what Amapiano is kind of based around fundamentally, you it would just grab you in. You'd be like, oh my god, what's this sound? So when you heard that, and I heard that in the club for the first time, I think it was like an Uncle Waffle track or a major league track that I first heard.
Oh, Major League is sick too. I
Yeah,
really
and
like.
I was like, yo, I think it was Tanzania.
That song? Oh my god, that is
With that track. So I was like, what is this? Like, this is crazy because I've just come from loving Afrobeats, DJing Afrobeats, and then this was a step up in tempo to like, you know, Afrobeats is like 105, and Amapiano is like 113, 114. It gets played at. So
mhm.
I was like, okay, this is a step up, and then I guess I've just made the step up from the 114 Amapiano more into kind of like the Afro house, which kind of gets played at 120, 122.
Yeah, I mean, the drums are like in that song especially is pretty addicting. And then like I
Yeah,
saw Rampa went and made an edit to it, and
yeah, that was
that
fun as well.
slapped too as well.
Um,
So you would say around last year was the time you decided to go full throttle with this project?
yeah, I mean, for me, like my idea is to really get the music right so people can identify it and
Hmm.
understand what it is. Look, I'm not trying to just create something to start just touring randomly. I want to have a whole identity behind this and people really understand what I'm doing. So I think the music is key to put out first for people to understand it, listen to it, and then I want them to come to the shows after that to be like, okay, I understand what Young Omz is here. Um, I made Mamacita, which did really well.
Yes, I want to get into
I
that.
made that. I started that on a plane actually. Probably about I think it's like 2 years ago now. And then I was just making a bunch of loops and different tracks. And again, I was working with a lot of vocalists. And it just all organically came. And I was like, okay, this is where I want to identify myself with.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the reason why I started to like, okay, all right, cool. And I'm such like a when I get addicted to something or when I've got a vision, I'm like, okay, I get it now. This is what's happening. But I like things to just fall into place organically and
Hmm.
not at first. I just like to plant the seed, okay? And if the seed's planted, then I'm good. Then I'll let it grow naturally, and then I'll start to water it even more.
So, what was I gonna say? Your track Mamacita did had over 2 million streams. Then I
Mhm.
saw that you've been teasing 444. You said you have a music video coming out for it, right?
We're planning it. We're planning it.
Planning it. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
So we want to create a visual for that. I've got some really exciting news that came in about 444 a few days ago. Not going to talk about that just yet.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's something that I love that track. It's just come together so perfectly.
Hmm.
That
I'm
track,
really excited for that one as well. I saw.
yeah, we finished that and then I played it in the club in New York actually, and it went off straight away. So I was like, that's an indication for me. Like it has to work in the club.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like getting the response from your audiences, like has it reinforced that you're heading in the right direction with this sound, like this positive feedback? Has it been like helping
Yeah.
you like when you go back into the studio and create music, or like how have you been feeling?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm super grateful for people, always giving me feedback. And like for me, like the biggest part of this is identifying and also connecting with the community. Like that's the reason why I do it. I don't do
Hmm.
it for personal gains. I actually do it to understand things. I do it to play in front of people, and I do it to just connect with people. So I'm always really, really. I love to be really close with my community, and just getting the feedback from what I've put out so far is just yeah, like you don't expect things sometimes. And as I said, like I wanted everything to go so organically. When that feedback started coming in, I was like, yo, like this is crazy. Like, you like it? Do you get what I mean? You get imposter syndrome as an artist sometimes. Sometimes you're like, okay, this is sick. I know this is sick. I don't care what anyone else says. But then sometimes you'll do something, and because it's like the first initial stages of my own solo stuff, you do get a little bit of imposter syndrome. You kind of like, all right, okay, cool. Are people going to understand this? Because this is so far from what people know me from.
This is when you're producing a track and you're making the song, do you ever find yourself like listening it too much to the point where you don't like it? Or does that not happen to you?
If it gets to that stage, then like with Mamacita, I still bang it, and it was an era. I like to stamp music in eras, so that really reminds me of Last Summer in Ibiza. If I want to remember Last Summer in Ibiza, I'll put that track on.
Hmm.
So
I love that. Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
one.
obviously, like I'm someone that just likes to play music to people constantly. So yeah,
No, for sure. No, for
you
sure.
know what I mean. So I'm like,
Uh,
yo, listen to my track. This is this. Like, my girl in the car constantly, bless her. She has to listen to my music all the time. She's like,
yeah, of
yeah,
course.
babe, it's good. I
You need a
feel
fresh
like,
pair of ears with you. You need a fresh
yeah,
pair.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And it's like people like that are like executive A&Rs as well because someone that wasn't in the room when that was made, but she could be like, "Oh, I like this," and she might not have the musical knowledge and understanding of how tracks are placed. But sometimes the audience here, you have to listen to that because they're the ones that are going to be listening to it, streaming it, and supporting it. So it
Of
has to
course.
be them.
You said that you're huge on really connecting with your crowd when you play your music. Is there a specific like city or crowd that you could name in particular where you felt like super connected with when you played when you were rinsing your music for this project like that
Yeah,
comes to mind?
yeah, for sure. It's New York, 100%.
Really?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I've done two New York shows now. As Young Omz, and they've both been amazing. One was at the One Hotel for Seoul, rooftop, and then I did Risque in December. That was like one of the best shows I've done as Young Omz so far. Um,
Oh,
and it's like you see the support on socials, you see people coming out, you see a few familiar faces. So yeah, I feel like I'm building a really big community out in New York, which I'm excited about.
yeah.
Miami as well, of course. I've built a nice following and community out in Miami. People really support and they get excited about the project. Um, so yeah, they're the two cities I would say I'm resonating with the project at the most, and that's where I'm kind of probably grabbing most of my inspiration from as well.
Really?
I would
How's
say
that?
so, yeah. Everyone has this whole stigma of like, you're from the UK, you're making UK stuff. This is this. I'm like, wherever I am, this is where I'm pulling my inspiration from. So
Mhm.
like I'm on the east side. So I'm working with that energy. I'm working with the Miami energy. Going to New York quite a lot now. So I'm working with that energy. When I go to Ibiza, I work with that energy a little bit more calmer. Um, so yeah, New York, Miami, definitely the two cities that I'm resonating with the most.
That's super cool. I'm really
Guys, I appreciate you all.
how did you come up with the stage name Young Omz? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. It might be
You got it
because
right.
okay.
This is really sad. It was my Call of Duty gamer tag.
Is your Call of Duty what?
It was my Call of Duty name,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay,
So the
gotcha.
YUNG was kind of like back in the day was kind of like your young folks, your rappers, all this sort of stuff. I couldn't rap.
Yeah,
I loved rap music, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to put that in. Ohms has always been my nickname from being 5 years old.
right.
So when I used to play online with all like my olders and my big brothers and all that sort of stuff, I wanted to be cool. So I was like, okay, if I put young, maybe they think I'm cool and I'm gonna. Do you know what I mean? I'll fit in with that crowd. So I put the young, and then everyone just started calling me that. So everyone was like, Young Omz, yo, Young Omz, Young Omz. So I was like, because I was always the younger. And then a few people have been like, bro, you're 30 now. Like, are you going to drop the young at any point? I'm like,
What?
yeah, I'm like, it's a mindset. And then I've had a few creative meetings sometimes where people are like, bro, like the young, you're going to be billed at the bottom of the flyer all the time. Um, young, like maybe it's a misperception. Like, can you be a DJ? Everyone's going to think you're a rapper. I'm like, this is what I chose. This is
Yeah.
from a creative standpoint. Like it has identity. Of course, the algorithm might not understand it to some aspect, but whatever's meant for me is going to come my way.
Yeah.
So my name is good. I identify with that. So some people think my first name is Young, and they think my second name's Ilms. Like
No,
when I go to certain places, that's what they say. They're like, "Hi, Young," and I'm like, I've even gone to airports and Young's on there.
really? That's
Yeah,
like
so like, but
I
yeah,
don't know, that's hilarious that some people mess it up. But no, that like honestly, the story behind that it seems the most organic, and it seems the like you identify with it the most.
yeah,
Roll,
definitely. I've thought
roll
about it.
with it. It's
I've
so
thought
great.
about it, but so many times I've slept on it, and I'm like, I don't want to go. Yeah, we'll just keep it running. I like it. It's
Of
enjoyable.
course.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. Do you have anything like tattooed, like dedicated to like your
Nah,
music?
I don't do tats. I don't do tats.
Gotcha.
I think I'm more scared about it.
Hmm. What are you scared about it? Just out of curiosity, like, are you scared? Like, what aspect of it? The needles, or?
Skin getting pinched. Zzz.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not, nah, not a fan.
I hear you. Um, so we talked a little bit about the inspiration. You said that you get some of it from where you are, including Miami, New York. You said some artists that have inspired you, some cultures. I think we touched on a little bit, like you said, growing up or playing in Manchester. What you said, you mentioned your dad was African. Was there ever any inspiration
Yeah,
there?
definitely. I mean, my dad came from club culture himself. He moved to the UK when he was like 25, I think. Come all the way from Libya, which is in North Africa. Um, Ended up going through just being in the UK, understanding the culture. Then he became a barback, um, and then he started washing plates and dishes in the club. Fast forward 5 years, I'll miss out some of the information because it's a long story, but he ended up becoming the manager of the club, and then he started to program the club. But he was an African, North African man who was in Manchester at the time. Manchester was a huge gang-related city, so
Mhm.
at that time, music like soul, funk, that music was running Manchester. That was like what was trending at the time, and he was the first person to actually put like music of Black origin events on in that era. So he was this North African guy who was bringing people together. These gangs were just trucing everything in the name of music because they respected my dad, and I seen that growing up. So I feel like I got my promoter aspect from him, and then also like he used to play music from Soul to Soul, Midnight Star Request, I think they're called, all like the old 80s, 70s, even pushing into the 90s, like funk um, music. So we used to bring like broken vinyl players home and speakers and things like that. So I was always around musical equipment growing up, always, always, always. So that was a massive inspiration for me. Just being around music and different sounds and just good music. I guess I got that education from my dad, which I'm really grateful for. And then just growing up, UK itself is just one of the best places in the world for music. Um, Again, I pulled inspiration from the Afro scene in Manchester, which was huge, Afrobeat specifically, and then obviously Amapiano's a massive point of reference for a lot of DJs in the UK as well. So pulling that inspiration from going out and growing up in the UK, it's definitely helped me build what I am and what the Young Omz project stands for.
Do you, as far I know, you guys are big on fashion as well. Has there been anything worth mentioning? In
In the UK, yeah, of course, Drama Call right now. The T-shirt that I'm wearing, they're my boys. They're running the scene in Manchester. Um, Clint's as well is a massive, massive brand in the UK, especially Manchester. I think Manchester's the second city, so for a long time we've been in the shadow of London, where we've kind of been like, oh, okay, you're from Manchester, yeah, cool, but you're not from London. But now I feel like everyone's looking at Manchester, and there's so many good artists coming out of there, and there's so much reference points coming out of there. Every time I walk around, still in the States, though, people are like, "Oh, you're from London?" I'm like, "From Manchester." They're like, "Oh, I know you because Ronaldo used to play for the club for Manchester United or something like that." But there's so much history in Manchester that is built upon music, and you see so many people touring now that come from Manchester. So yeah, I always keep that energy. I think Manchester energy itself is just outgoing, forward thinking, um, no boundaries type vibe. It's the second city, so we had to get it. You know, we didn't have the opportunities of what the capital had at the time. So you always keep that essence in you of like when you're making something or when you're doing something, you're like, yeah, we're gonna get it. This is gonna be the best. You're gonna like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely I kind of went off the beaten track there, but
No, 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 you're good. No, not at all. This is good because like the more substance the response has, the better story I could tell.
okay, yeah.
How would you say stepping behind the decks as Young Om Omz feel? I'm sorry, I keep butchering it. As Young Omz feel compared to performing as part of
Amazing.
the collective? Yeah, like how is that experience differ
It's
for you?
interesting because you then play that when you're playing as Mason, it's cool and it's easy and it's nice and it's vibes because there's three of you. So you get to talk to people, you get to engage with the crowd. As you said before, you always see me like I look like I'm crazy lit. I'm like, yeah, do you know what I'm saying? So you get
Yeah,
to have a proper party when I'm doing Mason. Young Ohms, I'm by myself,
yeah.
like which is normal. But I've DJed a lot of times as a free. So now that I'm really creating something and I'm stepping behind the decks, I'm finding that presence still of again, as we spoke about before, imposter syndrome. I've been DJing for 15 years. I've played in front of 20,000 people, 30,000 people. I played in front of 100 people. But so I've been through all the stepping stones, but I do have that essence of nervousness starting because this is my personal output. So I've I've started to cut off that imposter syndrome, but I guess that's a good sign because it shows that I care about it and it shows that I'm really in the zone of wanting people to understand what this is. So yeah, give me time and I will be that crazy guy that I am behind the decks at the home shows. I'll multitask. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. Would you say, like, do you have some sort of like tradition that you do before you go on set, playing by yourself?
Um,
Or you just roll up and hop on and you're chilling?
Nah, you know what? Like I always try and plan stuff, but I'm really bad with timing, so I get there like really last minute. Yeah. I feel like
Promoters must appreciate that.
yeah. Sorry guys. Yeah, I don't. I hope you book me. Yeah, but I always make it. I always make it. But the thing, I think it adds to the chaos of it. It adds to the excitement. I think subliminally, I must just be late on purpose because it just adds some little excitement to it. Do you know what I mean?
You want you don't want to know what I asked another artist this, and they told me that the adrenaline that they also show up very last second, and it's because of the adrenaline that it provides them that they just go in
100%.
and
Yeah, definitely. Because when you're playing, you've got to be present for 2 hours, 3 hours. Like that's what I've noticed as well. Like when I'm playing with zones, um, if I mess up or whatever, it's on me. I'm only there. That's me. Nothing else is happening. It's just me. So you've got to be present. Like, but the feeling of it afterwards is like, oh my god, yes, I did that. Complete mission complete. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed it. So yeah, it's good, man. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's fun. Super fun.
if you weren't doing two more questions by the way,
No,
if
keep
you
going. I'm happy.
okay, good. I don't want to hold you too long, but I'm just actually really curious if you weren't doing this music at all, what would you be doing? Like, is there another something that you've been interested in outside of music?
Yeah, I'd be playing for Manchester United.
Oh, really?
Yeah, striker. No, I'm joking. Nah, I would be a footballer. I would like to be a footballer.
Wait, you have a soccer background? No way.
Yeah, I used
I'm
to play
a
soccer.
shitty journalist. I did not catch that
No,
online.
I'm joking. I wouldn't have got. I don't know if I would have got to that level, but I would have hoped so. That I would have put my mind into football. Definitely. I went to uni to study business and sport.
Mm.
Um, so I run a soccer brand as well, football for the UK people that are watching.
One more
Um,
time, you about
I
what
run
soccer?
a brand called Block to Block, which is a football soccer based project.
Cool.
So we bring DJs together. We run a tournament, and each DJ has their own team. We raise a lot of money for charity, and we've worked with Adidas, Nike, Puma, and then we bring community. So we allow people to come and watch their favorite artists playing within this tournament, and it just brings everyone to that childlike zone of enjoyment. And we do this every music week. We do it.
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. I've been to one of them. I think
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah. So that's
oh, that's super cool. Yeah, I saw like Rossi was there.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I remember going last year. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man. Yeah. So that's something that, like, the essence of football and soccer is like it brings your childlike state out, right? So it breaks the boundaries because sometimes we're in the club and we're speaking to these artists and whatever, and everyone's got the guard up a little bit because
The persona.
Yeah, because you've got to keep that persona. There's so many energies in the club, and you've got a DJ, and you're a bit uptight because you might be stressed about the show. But when everyone's on the football field, regardless of who you are, everyone just feels the same, and it just opens up so many doors from a creative aspect that, like, I've seen conversations happen with people that would never have been in the same room, and that was the whole reason why I created Block to Block. Really,
That's super cool. Block to block, right?
yes,
No,
sir.
I'll be mentioning that as well. Um, if somebody's hearing Ohms for the first time, what do you hope they take away from the experience?
Um, I'd like for them to understand what I was creating, that the creation is for the crowd. So I want them to walk away with like, yo, that was mad fun, but it was also artistic as well.
I like that. Very cool. Is there anything else that I haven't mentioned that you would like to add?
I think we went over quite the basis of everything. Obviously, the Ohms project's still in the early stages, so there's so much stuff that I'm working on right now that I just like I'm keeping under wraps, and or until it like manifests higher into actually happening. But I'm just super grateful for everyone showing me love on it. Again, this is just a project that um, was something that I wanted to exist and to have an identity. Um, and I feel like it's really resonating with people, which I'm super grateful for. You know, like I do this to connect with my community, and at the end of the day, go play music and give you guys music to listen to. So I'm super happy with where it is, and I'm super grateful, man.
I'm really looking forward to your upcoming releases, especially for
So
444. Do we have like a date set out that we could talk about or for the release, or that's
we only
confidential?
finished that like 6 weeks ago, so it's been teased for 6 weeks now. So it sounds like a summer project to me. Um, but I'm just yeah, that's just like so many people have sent me messages about that. I've had people sending me pictures like putting the fours up and all this certain
Oh yeah.
stuff.
What is 444?
So in the track, Junior says he's speaking about a girl. I don't know if it's a girl that broke his heart.
Okay.
Um, so he says, now you're always out till 4 a.m. getting wasted with your four fake friends. And then he says, for life, for life, for life. So we were like, okay, it's 444. Because
Okay.
there's four fours to start. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, of course, of course.
So we were like, okay, yeah, we need a track. What are we going to call it? And we was like, yeah, 444. Makes sense.
That definitely works.
So yeah,
Very.
when you see the breakdown of the lyrics and all that sort of stuff, you'll understand why it's called 444.
I'm excited.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an angel number as well, right? So
I was just gonna say that's an angel number, is it not?
yeah. So the girls are like that as well.
For sure, for sure. I have some like spiritual girlfriends that will go crazy for that one.
Exactly.
My
So
God.
yeah, that's really excited about that project. That one's going to be super fun. Again, it's crossing worlds where Junior Choi, the vocalist who's on the track, is predominantly known for making like drill music. He made a track Moon, which was like a viral hit um, a few years back. Everyone know him for. So it's just like crossing these boundaries and breaking boundaries with artists that wouldn't necessarily be on Afro house music or tribal house music. I don't like to give it a genre really either. It's like I'm
Mhm.
not trying to create. I know that people say this and it sounds cliche, but I'm really not trying to create in a genre. I'm just trying to create the identity of what Owns is, and then if it fits within specific genres, then I'm more than happy for people to be like, okay, yeah, that's Afro House. I'll be like, that's your interpretation. I love that.
Yeah, I like try to be careful when I ask or write about like what genre like some people would like to refer it as. So
Mhm.
for but like you said, like basically you're creating your own like whatever sounds good to you or to the crowd is what you can identify it as. But for for the record and for writing purposes, I could refer to it as Afro beats.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I want it to be anyone's interpretation. I don't want it to be like this is not Afro house. You know what I mean? 'Cause I
Yeah.
take inspo from that. I'm not saying it from an essence of like I love Afro house. Like I love to be identified with that sound, and like to break it down. There's elements of that we've taken from Afro house. The BPM, the drums, the bass line is very Amapiano based with the log drum underneath it. So there's
Mhm.
like there's a lot that is taken from Afro house, but then some of the elements aren't Afro house based. So it's anyone's interpretation. If someone wants to call it deep house, if someone wants to call it whatever you want to call it whatever you want to call it. I like that.
Hell yeah. I sent you in the chat the link to the three-step sound. Check it out whenever you
Okay, yeah,
can.
I'm gonna vibe to that when I go to the gym today.
I listed some songs that are technically it's such a fresh genre still, like so not it's
Okay,
not
so
already under, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much everything I have for you today. I want to thank you for your time.
cool. Yeah, I appreciate it. Good to talk, man. Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the releases. I'll be in touch with Luca as to when we're gonna upload them.